all of you. As you know, our convention sold out in all of 26 hours.
That was with the systems crashing. They were down half of that time. Okay.
Oh, who's responsible for that? Oh, I
Sure.
think Dave's in
Keep
charge
going,
of those
keep going,
systems.
keep
Anyway, yeah.
So we've had a lot of people ask, how can we participate in convention? Because we have information that's presented at convention that you don't get anywhere else,
You know,
right?
it's never just this, I know everybody knows this anyway, but we spend a lot of time in preparation for this. So it's always big, changing,
minute.
progressive,
Content,
forward-thinking,
content,
never
so-
known before type information. And that's all across the board. That's not just with the sciences, that's with everything. So
Absolutely. This
it's
is where
a
you get
do
the
not miss
vision,
event
the
for
culture
sure.
of the company, but we've got some pretty groundbreaking research that will be presented
We've been working on
year.
this for a long period of time, and there's just some things that, in spite of all of our experience with the oils, there's still some things that we just don't always know, and we've had some breakthrough. We've
have some big
discovered
ones.
some things that we've not known before that we're excited to share. It's going to really be an aha moment for a lot of people, and
Right.
once again, doTERRA is going to be out in the front, and we're
we
excited
want,
about that.
And we want everyone to hear this firsthand.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Right? So you might be asking, how do I get access to this, right? I didn't get a ticket. I can't come to be with you in Utah. So Dave, how are we going to make this possible?
We are going to live stream this. We've done this some years in the past, but we've got this perfected a little bit
Right.
better now. And we're going to live stream this. And so you can see it in your living rooms. And it's going to be in 9 languages.
10 languages.
So let me see.
Chinese, French,
German,
German,
Russian,
Portuguese, Japanese,
Right?
Spanish, ASL.
Yep.
Right.
I mean, we've got a lot of the
Yeah, we're gonna try
languages
to cover it.
covered, so it's going to
Right,
be.
because doTERRA is now a very global
Well,
company.
it is, and that demand is there, and it's just going to continue to expand. So,
Right.
So
So
this is
very
our
exciting.
10-year anniversary as well. So I mean, we've got stuff planned that's going to be amazing. Our foray into the medical field.
we are
We're gonna be talking about a
so
lot of new
excited
things.
about all
This
of
will
the
be awesome.
content ready for convention. You can see
Yeah.
we're kind of giddy. We want to tell you everything we have planned, but we can't. So we want you to gather together with your teams in your living rooms. Even if you want to rent hotel rooms and gather everyone together, you can watch things as they're happening live. So you'll have access to almost all of the content presented in general session. You also have access to the gala. So if you want to watch your favorite
wanna-
diamond walk, you get that access
you want to
for
see
free.
Dave in a tuxedo? That's the time to do it.
Right?
I hear he's got
wanna
a
see that.
light blue tuxedo with a top hat
With
this year,
tails.
so
And-
it's
and-
going to
and a ruffled
long
shirt.
tails. Yeah, it's going to be great.
But registration for this is only $49. We want to make this very economical to you. So you can watch it live, and you can also have access for 2 weeks afterwards
This is
to
awesome.
to watch your
Replay
favorite
those
session.
pieces you love
So if you
and-
really like the research that Dr. Hill's presenting, you can watch him over and over and over again for 2 weeks.
You know what I really like about this? I really think coming to convention is just, you have to do that.
It's
magical.
magical.
You have to be there. There's just
It's not,
things that.
it's not the same. We
It's
know
not
when you're
quite the
watching
same,
in your
but
living
I
room.
love the
but
idea that we've grown so large
We have.
that we really do want everyone
right.
to have the opportunity to hear and to learn what we're exposing and sharing at convention. So
Right.
I actually love that we do this. I think this is a
Absolutely.
wonderful
So
opportunity.
we'll have 34,000 people with us. You'll feel the energy and the magic there, but hopefully that will carry
whole lot
over
more than
into
that,
your living rooms.
all over the world.
And if you
So-
come to convention,
Yeah.
you can purchase this package as well, and
That's
you
true.
can watch your favorite sessions for 2 weeks afterwards, and that way you don't have to take
Share it
notes
with
while you're there.
share it with your teams and
Yeah.
people that you think that this really has meaning with. It's,
Absolutely.
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing that we're doing.
Yes.
So
So
we're
we're
excited about it.
We're so excited to share convention with all of you, and wish you a wonderful day. So we'll see you in September.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Hi everybody, my name is Michelle Cannon and I am a wellness advocate with doTERRA, and I am so excited to talk to you guys today about the value behind events and why they are so important for our businesses. When I attended my first event, which was convention 3 years ago, I actually went in there feeling a little bit nervous, like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I already like these products. Why do I have to attend these things in order to love it more? I just didn't quite understand that. But the moment I set foot inside that arena, just that energy that you feel is so different, and it's something that you can't really tell people about. You have to be there. And when I was there, it really helped me understand the love of doTERRA, which really drove me to be more successful in this business, because when I understood the company and what they stood for, that's when I understood how much I actually really loved doTERRA, and it wasn't just the great products. So we have all these events with doTERRA that we have at our fingertips, and they travel into most of our states and cities to be able to provide all these extra little events. And we need to really take advantage of those events, get ourselves there, open up our eyes to something that we cannot really tell people about, but they have to experience for themselves. One of my favorites actually is Leadership Retreat, which you have to be a silver or above to actually go to that. But something so powerful about that is it teaches you how to be a better leader. You go in there thinking, okay, I know these skills, I'm good at this, but really you sit down and it all starts to kind of internalize and make you feel like, wow, I have so much to grow. And that really right there set the tone for me as I went to those first 2 events when I started doTERRA, to really understand the value and the power behind events. In order to keep my love growing and in order to really show that love for other people, I have to fill my cup of leadership. I have to fill my cup of doTERRA events in order to pour into other people just how much I love this business and this company. So if I could give you one suggestion, that would be, no matter what event, even if it's a small one, big one, get yourself there and watch your business take off. And on top of that, you need to get as many people there as you possibly can. Because not only do we fill our cups of this beautiful company, but we also get that motivation and that desire to really push forward in this business. Because there's moments where we might feel a little bit down or a little bit, where am I headed? Or I'm not growing, or I'm not where I want to be. And then the second I get to an event, I feel like, I'm right back where I'm at, and I'm going to keep pushing forward. So without these events for ourselves, but also for our teams, as we really dive in to grow our teams that we've created and these beautiful leaders, we have to be that example and get to these events, but also love on our teams and be there all together and just continue to grow. And these events give us that power to do so. And so my suggestion for all of you guys is just to really hold tight to those events and understand that that's what's going to bring your team closer, but also grow your team immensely.
Hey everyone, I'm Danny Smith, and I'm so excited to be sharing with you today how you can create some massive momentum and growth in your team by hosting larger events. This has actually been one of the secret sauces that I've used to grow my business. Now, most of you are probably building by the same way I did, teaching in-home classes, doing lots of one-on-ones, but I want you to not forget the power of reaching outside of your personal group to bring a larger amount of people together. So I'm going to give you a few tips on how to really rock your next large event. But first, I want to share with you why I'm really passionate about utilizing big events to grow your business. When I was first introduced to doTERRA, I loved the oils, I absolutely believed in them, but I was not interested in the business. I eventually kind of started dabbling a little bit with sharing. I enrolled a few people, but I wasn't seeing a ton of success. After about 2 years of this, a Presidential Diamond actually came to my hometown and started hosting large events for anyone in the area. I decided to show up to one of them to see what all the fuss was about, and really a few major things happened for me at that event. The first was something called social proof. You know, all of a sudden, it wasn't me sitting in a home with 5 or 6 people or sitting in a one-on-one talking to somebody thinking, am I the only one in the world wanting to do this? All of a sudden, I felt like I was really a part of something bigger. You know, there were dozens of other people surrounding me that I didn't know, and it was, for the first time, a point where I realized that there's a lot of other people involved in this cause besides me. I had to be a part of that movement, and I knew at that moment that I wanted to move really fast. The second thing that happened for me was this Presidential Diamond actually said exactly what I needed to hear at the time. It's really funny. It reminds me of the saying, you're never a prophet in your own land. You know, my own upline, and who was my enroller, was actually Presidential Diamond herself. and had probably told me the same thing a million times, but for whatever reason, I really resonated with this specific leader at that moment. So I want you to think for a second about how powerful it can be for your leaders when you're bringing your people to hear from leaders that they don't typically get to see. Something might spark for them that you couldn't have created yourself. Okay, so on to the good stuff. Some of you are thinking this all sounds great, but where do I begin? So I want to simplify this process for you so it's not overwhelming and you can start implementing it right now. I'm going to share with you 5 tips to get started, and again, most importantly, to see success right away. So the first one is cross-team collaboration. You have to start reaching out. Cross-team collaboration is going to be key to a successful large event. Remember, everyone needs to see different perspectives, and this is a really great way to do that. You don't have to be a certain rank to create this, but I've seen the most successful events happen when you're really involving at least 2 to 3 premiers and above in the area. You're going to sit down with them, you're going to plan the event, and really get everybody on board. So make sure that you're making decisions together so everybody feels a part of the process. Everyone agrees to support the event by bringing their teams and their guests, and everyone agrees to help with setup, room costs, you're going to make assignments, pick a speaker, and this really could be a combination of people. In other words, everybody's going to take ownership in this event to make it successful. Now, the second thing is to get creative. Decide the type of event that you want to do, and really get creative in the way that you teach your event. We always get the best attendance when we're specific and creative about the topic. So for instance, we hosted a large Slim and Sassy event one New Year. At the class, we taught all about the Slim and Sassy products. We had table displays around the room for sampling. We had somebody actually there making different recipes of trim shakes to try. It was so much fun, and everybody loved it. Some other ideas that we've done are essential oil bingo. We've done speed oiling. It's like speed dating, but better. I've done one all about kids specifically, and don't forget about a basic oil class. That can still totally rock. One summer, we hosted a basic essential oil class, but it was Hawaiian themed. We purchased cheap leis online. We had Hawaiian music playing and had some Hawaiian haystacks, and these were super cheap to make as well. Everybody brought a topping, and it was really fun. It's truly just in your excitement and your sense of urgency when inviting your people. So let's get creative, and guess what? It will create excitement as well. Now, the next thing is to find a venue. This doesn't always have to cost money. Did you guys know that you can find large basements, sometimes public libraries? We've even asked local restaurants that have private rooms if they'll let us host there. And most will let you use these for free, as they know that the people that will come might buy a cup of coffee or a sandwich. We've used yoga studios or any other businesses, and really what a great way for them to get more exposure to their own business. But you can rent a venue too. And if this is the case, make sure to have all of the leaders that are collaborating and inviting contribute. Or you could charge a small fee for attending, but I always suggest that guests are free. And make sure that it's inexpensive. So I know it depends on the area that you live, but you should really be able to find some great rates if you get creative about where you're getting your venue. Now, the next thing is freebies make everything more fun, you guys. Have giveaways and offer an incentive to invite new people. So that's how you're going to get a large amount of people to the event. When you do giveaways in a larger group setting, the energy can skyrocket. Have all of the organizing leaders bring 1 or 2 items to give away. And in addition, it's really important to fill the room with fresh faces. So that's how that's going to happen. I will usually offer an incentive for guests and for people who bring guests. So you could give guests something like a 5 ml Wild Orange or a Living magazine. We've even made roller balls with a special blend. Now, for the wellness advocates, I love running contests to see who can get the most guests to an event. Some prize ideas can be simple, like a trio kit, or every wellness advocate loves doTERRA swag, or even business supplies. Just remember, it doesn't have to be expensive. People will love the recognition, and they'll really appreciate that you noticed. The last thing is be professional. This event needs to be different than a typical class. Remember, you're trying to create excitement and get lots of people to experience doTERRA that night, so it needs to be worth attending. Some of the things that have been really helpful at our events is make sure you have a table display up front, turn the lights up high, water stations are helpful with some essential oil choices, doTERRA signage is great, and make sure you have greeters handing out giveaway tickets as people come in. The speaker really should be dressed just a notch above everyone else, and they need to know how to present. This wouldn't be the event to put a brand new leader in front of everybody. It feels almost like a mini corporate event. You can involve newer leaders, though, by helping with setup, putting them in charge of greeting, so they really feel a part of the group. I'm so excited for you guys to reach out and to really start connecting with other leaders in your area. I will tell you that was key to the momentum that we created in our business in the beginning. So I want to challenge you to host your first event with a few of your new cross-team friends in the next 90 days. And make it a goal to host one of these larger events every quarter. You'll not only find friends from other teams to share strategy with and the realization that you're not alone, you may also just be able to spark a new leader that needed to see the bigger picture. And I promise the momentum for your area will be off the charts as you start to organize, reach out, and really get excited to bring a bunch of oil-loving people together. I wish you luck, and I hope you rock your next event.
Hi, my name is Betty Torres, and I am from San Antonio, Texas. I recently moved there from the Minneapolis, Minnesota area. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of my very favorite topics, and that is creating momentum with events. I personally built my business with events. I know that there are some people that build online, but I always have built with live events. And I have just found that the energy is so re-energizing, for me and for everybody else. But, definitely both ways can work. But today, primarily, I'm talking about live events. So the real power of an event is what happens inside of the individual. And you can't judge. You don't know what a person's timing is. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know where they're at in life. So get to events. Get your people to events. Don't judge who's the speaker and what are they going to be talking about. Don't judge any of that. Just get your people to events because you never know who might speak to them and when it might be the right time for them. Okay, some people say, you know what, I do so much better with one-on-ones than I do with in-homes, or I do so much better with in-homes than I do with one-on-ones or with larger venue events. We need to be doing all of these events. That is the events cycle, the initial contact to the one-on-one to the in-home, and you're going to do an in-home for a new person, and you're going to teach it for them. And you're going to teach the first one for sure for them. The second one, you're pulling them in for part of the presentation. And then by the third one, they could be teaching the class themselves along with somebody else that they have that's new. So as this event cycle starts to grow with different leaders on your team, you are moving on to the next new person. And you're going through this event cycle with them. But the problem with that is how do you remain available and accessible to everybody on your team? And that's where the larger events come to play. So you have now 3 or 4 or 5 leaders that are out there doing the event cycle on their teams. Get those leaders together and talk about the value of holding larger events all together, where all of them come together, they promote it to their people, to their leaders, and they promote it to their people on their teams, and everybody commits to attending, and everybody commits to bringing guests. Okay, so larger venue events. Look for a professional location. This is a hotel that was my home area when I was in Minnesota. And, when I called them to find out about having an event, they quoted me the price of $500 to $600 for the room. That is like a lot of money. And so basically what I did was I told them, hey, we're going to have regular events as we get going. We're just getting started. We're going to eat at your restaurant. If people come for a weekend event, they're going to stay at your hotel. Can you work with us on that? And what was interesting is they came down from $500 to $600 to $100 for a room that seats 100 people. So that's a huge savings, and it made it possible for 5 leaders to get together and each of them pitch in $20. So you want to make sure, and you want to share the cost, and you want to share the materials, who's bringing the materials. You want to share the responsibilities so it doesn't just fall on one person. But then we grew to a bigger room, and so we went to a bigger room that's now 200 people, and that's only $200, and they've become our home location. So definitely everything is negotiable when you're working with these venues. Dress up a little bit when you are at the events, and be professional, at least business casual, make it professional, and for sure the people that are speaking at the events should be dressed up a bit. Wear your recognition pins. Those pins are very important. At the end of the event, at the end of the class, I always tell people, make sure that you find somebody who's wearing a pin. These are the leaders. These are the people that can answer your questions. And if you brought a guest, make sure that you introduce your guest to the people that are wearing those pins. You can darn well bet that when you say that at the end of a class, the next class, everybody's going to be wearing their pin, because they should be wearing their pin, and they should be wearing it with pride. We're going to make sure that the room is very professional, that it's set up in a professional way, and very important to always set up the room to where the back of the room is where you enter. Okay, you don't want people that are latecomers to enter through the front of the room. That's very, very distracting, very much disrupts the room. And make sure that you save the last row or two for the latecomers, and make sure that you have someone at the door who is going to seat the latecomers so that you minimize those distractions during the class. This picture actually shows a PowerPoint, but I want to tell you that I don't use a PowerPoint. I only use a PowerPoint if I'm doing a business training. For classes, I am always teaching off the handout, okay? So I want to make it easy for somebody to leave the class and be able to teach the class right that same night. They don't have to worry about, oh, I don't have as nice of a computer, I don't have a projector, I don't have whatever. And the sound system that I use for these classes that are 200 people sometimes, that little sound system is only $69 through Amazon, and it has saved me thousands of dollars in sound systems at hotels. What's the time frame for the larger venue event? An hour and a half would be really good. Some of them, in Minnesota, I mean, they're so big. When I go back to Minnesota now, it'll be 150, 180 people, and we'll have 50 or 60 guests. And we make it an event. We do all kinds of recognition of the guests, of the people that brought guests. We have people telling their stories. We're doing all different activities. And so it's kind of like a post-convention event. And so some of those run 2 hours. But everyone is engaged and happy and fun and uplifted. Okay, collaboration. I talked about that a little bit before. I cannot stress to you enough the importance of collaborating. We are all one doTERRA team, and we will all grow together. Okay, very, very important, because by collaborating, you are going to be able to attract the bigger doTERRA events, and you're going to be able to attract more people because they will be validated and have a higher level of belief because of what they see at the events. Promote, promote, promote. Find a way to get the information out. I have a Facebook group, and I actually have a drawing every single month for a really great prize, like a Family Essentials kit, for anyone who posts an event. So they get entered in the drawing every time they post an event. And so it's just wonderful, because you can have people that are 3 blocks away that you didn't know they were there, that you could be collaborating. Post in homes, you can post one-on-ones. No event is too small. Larger venue events. If you're doing a table at a vendor event, post that. Promote, 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 and get people that are in the area working together. Here's something that's super important. The way that you get guests to an event, to a class, is you pick them up. And it might be, in some of the bigger metro areas, it might be a hassle, but it is so worth it, because it's an amazing fact that 100% of the guests that you pick up actually show up. And I will tell you that 21 years ago, when someone invited me to my very first direct sales event, if they had not picked me up, I am pretty darn sure that I would not have gone, because that whole day I was like, why did I agree to go? And why am I going to this? And she had told me she was going to pick me up. She picked me up, and I was committed to going, and that opened a door. Thank goodness that that door was open for me. But pick up your guests, because they don't know how important the message is going to be. Get your guests there, pick them up. Okay, promotions and recognition can fill the room. Recognize the people that brought one guest. Recognize people that brought 2 guests, that brought 3 guests. Have a prize for the person that brought the most guests. Bring them up to the front of the room. It's so fun, and there's like so much like friendly competition in a good way of who gets the big prize or who gets these different tools. And you can keep it really affordable, and you can share it with the leaders in the area. You know, for bringing one guest, they can get one of the Natural Solutions DVDs. We can get those from doTERRA for like $1.50. For bringing 2 guests, it can be a tabletop display, beautiful tabletop display. For bringing 3 guests, it can be a keychain. And so, bring them up, recognize them, take pictures. They're going to be posted on the Facebook group the next day so that everybody can see that. Okay, now let's talk about setting the stage. You want to make sure and have a nice display, some doTERRA signage. You want to make sure that it doesn't just fall on one person, so you have a team of people assigned to do different things. You'll have people that are doing the display, someone who's in charge of setting up the seating, someone else who's in charge of the water station. You can have greeters at the door. So different people have different responsibilities so that it truly is a team effort. So you want to have a nice display, a simple display, organized according to product category. The room, the lights are all turned up, chairs facing the front of the room, door entering through the back of the room, and you want to make sure and have the room temperature turned down. You want it to be cooler rather than warmer, because when it's warmer, people start to kind of nod off and fall asleep. And if it's cooler, they're more alert. So we normally set the room temp about 68, 70 degrees. You'll see on here, I have some pictures of some beautiful women. And the reason I'm showing them is because it is so important to have smiles on our faces. And it is so important for every single person to be greeted at the door and take them in, seat the guests in the front, make sure that those couple of front rows are reserved for the people with guests, and then save the last couple of rows for the people that come late. Share the stage. We want to make sure that we make it a team effort there as well during the presentation. Have someone do the introduction and edify and introduce the speaker. Have them tell their story. If you have a health professional in the room, someone with special expertise, bring them up to the front and have them share a story of how they use the doTERRA products in their practice, or have them share a story so that people see that there is someone with special expertise that is in doTERRA and believes in the doTERRA products. I bring the guests up to the front of the room, and we do something called the Peppermint Challenge. It used to be that we would just pass around the peppermint, but the problem was that our guests, we have so many guests when we do a class in Minnesota that every time that the peppermint would get to a guest, there would be excitement and people would be laughing around them because they would be so surprised of how concentrated and how potent the peppermint was, and so it would be a disruption in the room. So what we finally figured out was, hey, let's just bring all the guests up to the front and let's have them do the Peppermint Challenge all together. So they come up, we put the peppermint in their hands. They might, sometimes I have them dip their tongue in their hand, and then I'll say, for fun, I'll say, go like this, and then I have them breathe in. And of course, everybody's having fun and laughing, and I have a couple of people that help me put the drop of peppermint in each person's hand. We then rub the hands together, and I'm demonstrating it for them and having them follow along. They breathe out, they breathe in, they breathe out, they breathe in through the nose, in through the mouth, they breathe in like this, and that way they get the full power of the peppermint, and it's so much fun. And usually at the end of the class, when we ask the guests what they like the most, they'll say the Peppermint Challenge. They absolutely love it. And then I'll ask, what do you feel after that? And then they will share their experiences from the front of the room. So not only is it really fun, but it also allows me then to highlight some of the benefits of the peppermint, and also to highlight the fact that every single oil has so many different benefits. This next picture is of people that are telling their story. So I always like to invite 4 or 5, maybe 6 people to come up to the room. I frame it and I'll say, okay, in 30 to 60 seconds, tell us your story of your experience with your favorite product. And I will tell the guests, if you want to hear more about it, they will be available for you after the class so you can ask more details. And that way you go through quickly, but you're getting a lot of stories. The next picture is actually a picture. It's of a whole bunch of people in front of a room. That was a night where we recognized all the people that brought one guest. So all of these people brought at least one guest, and they got a prize, they got recognition, they got their picture on the Facebook group. And then at the end of the class, we recognized the people who volunteered to teach classes. So I usually will order one Class in a Box kit for every 10 guests that we have at a larger venue event. Because what I want out of that box is the doTERRA Living magazine and the 10 Wild Orange, because every guest will leave with those 2 things. But what do you do with the rest of the stuff? I leave the Natural Solutions handout in there, the 10-pack. I leave all the other materials in there, and I like to put a 10-pack of the product guide in there. And then I close the box, I put my label on the box so that I can keep track of the fact that that is a modified Class in a Box. I've taken out the orange and the doTERRA Living magazine, but all those materials in that box, at the end of the class, I will basically offer to provide all the materials that they need for a class, okay, that the guests need for a class. And I will say, if you believe that this is information that people in your life should know about, I would like to offer you everything that you need to have a class in your home, and the person who invited you here will come and teach the class for you. And it's amazing what happens. We have people that are like running to the front to get one of those boxes. And so we have them line up the first, if there are 60 guests, we're going to give away 6 of those. They will come up and they will line up and we'll have them hold it, take a picture, and we will recognize them. And what we're doing is we're not only recognizing them, we're also showing the people that are in the room what you can do to book classes from classes. It's just an idea for booking a class off of another class. Okay, the event after the event. This is actually the most important part of the event, is the event after the event. So you don't want to stand up and start putting on your coat and leaving. You don't want to start taking down the display. No, nothing like that happens. Everybody is just sitting there, and you're going to turn to your guest, and you're going to ask them these questions. I'm just curious. What did you like best about what you learned tonight? Let them answer. Don't say anything. Let them answer. Then you're going to ask, which kit do you feel best meets your needs? Again, the pause might seem long, but a few seconds will seem long, but you're not going to say anything. Don't go into a sale mode. Let them tell you what they are thinking. And then you can ask them in a very friendly, casual way. You can ask them, would it be okay if I help you set up your Hostel account tonight? Okay, so very, very nice, very, very, very simple, and very friendly, and it's just like a logical progression. Okay, so the event after the event. No one's taking down the display until the last person leaves the room. The signage stays up. Everyone is staying in the room, walking around, mingling, introducing the guests. Usually, if we have a big class, I will have 3 of the leaders in the room come up to the front of the room, and I'll let the guests know that we have a guest gift. We have a doTERRA Living magazine, a Wild Orange for them, and that they should come up to one of the people in the front that I've introduced and just let them know what they liked best about what they learned tonight. After that, we are going to go to an after event. So it's the event after the event, and then beyond means that you are going to go, for fun. You're going to go to a restaurant. You're going to go eat something. We actually have worked it out that the restaurant that's attached to our event venue in Minnesota, they stay open later for us because we don't want to be rushing out of the room just because they stopped taking orders at 10. We told them if you want us to stay here and eat, you need to take orders until 11 and not rush us out until 12 or 1. And so you will have, in a class that we have in Minnesota, we'll have 20, 30, 40 people that will go and have appetizers and socialize and have fun together and really get to know each other. And you can hear them talking about how they're going to team up for classes in their area, and all of those things. So it's just so important for the community to know each other, for it to be a real community and a real family. Convention. Everyone needs to be at convention. If you are a builder, you need to be at convention. So these events are so important, and these are the culminating events of everything that we did, all those initial contacts, the one-on-ones, the two-on-ones, the in-homes, the larger venue events, all the corporate regional events. Those are the culminating events. So just to recap, events build on each other. Okay, so we're going to do more initial contacts, one-on-ones, and in-home classes than anything else. Make sure that we're doing lifestyle overviews. Those are events as well. So if we enroll somebody, everybody's at a different stage when they enroll. And they might just be somebody that's just buying product to use product. But they're not really engaged in the whole idea of changing their lifestyle. They're not really engaged in the possibility of sharing or possibly building a business. The lifestyle overview can get them at least thinking about the lifestyle part of it, and then it opens a door for other possibilities. But that is very important. That is a very huge thing to do. As follow-up for anybody new that's enrolled, it's very important to do that, and it's also like a way that will lead to a very high retention. It's probably the most important thing that you can do for retention on your team, is to sit down and do a lifestyle overview with somebody. Continuing education classes. I primarily teach the intro class because I'm teaching the intro class to new people all the time, the natural solutions class, but we're going to have continuing education class opportunities as well. You're going to have people who have a passion for a topic, or people who have special expertise in a topic, and they are the ones who are going to teach those continuing education classes. Don't feel that you have to teach all of them yourself. You don't have to. Just get really good at teaching the intro class, the natural solutions class. And I have to tell you, you got to teach a lot of bad classes before you actually get really good at teaching the class. So just get out there and start teaching. From there, it builds to the regional trainings, the leadership retreat, and then ultimately the global convention. And I want to make sure that you understand that this is a cycle. You are always doing all of these types of events. It's not like you graduate to the next level. No, you're always doing all of these types of events. I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. Leaders are born at events. Momentum is born at events. And from my personal experience, events equal success.
People come to doTERRA for many different reasons. Most come initially looking for the help and more education, understanding with essential oils, right?
So what do you think? Is doTERRA ready to revolutionize the world of healthcare?
Every single home in the world will have essential oils.
Would you like to feel younger? And if so, what makes you feel old? And I've done this around the world, and you know what? The responses are always the same.
This event truly symbolizes the next chapter for the doTERRA movement. Are you ready for it?
May I long experience the joy that comes from healing those who seek my help. My friends, if that's not a perfect descriptor of you, I don't know what is.